told you they were a rowdy bunch back there. Okay, without further ado, we're going to get off this morning kicked off. I'd like to welcome up Mayor President Monique Boulet and a variety of our other local officials, elected officials, state officials. Got lots of guests with us this morning. Happy to have everybody. Mayor?
Thank you, Jamie, and thank everybody for being here. I want to invite my partners up here. This is a parish initiative, but cannot be accomplished without all of the partners, all of my fellow electeds, and so I want them all, everybody who's here today, to come on up. As well as BJ, who will say a few words in a minute. Okay, so today, not today, in general, we've been having these growth meetings, right? We've been in Milton, in Karen Crow, we're going to Broussard tonight, we have Judy's scheduled. There is a very common theme, and I don't think it would shock anybody to understand really one of the most critical issues in infrastructure and, meeting the infrastructure needs with where we sit today and with the growth projections that are coming is traffic congestion. Traffic congestion is really a heavy, heavy lift. Some people we have a very small geographical parish, and some people spend upwards of 45 minutes an hour getting around when, again, it's a small space. I think our cities have done pretty well in managing their roadways. I will not say there's not congestion in the city of Lafayette. There is. But one of the gaping holes or biggest gaps in our system is the roads between our cities. It's those spaces where, and I think most of us travel them at one time or another, it's getting from one city to the next. And those roads often fall on the parish. Many of them are in the unincorporated areas. And the parish finances, and I have a couple of parish councilmen up here today. Mr. Gilbo's not, but he's the one who belabors it the most. But the reality is the parish budget is weighed down by unfunded mandates from the state. And so while we raise good money, we don't really have the opportunity to solve problems the way I think all of us would like to without the proper resources. And that trick has gone back and forth for decades. I don't think it's a new problem. It's a real problem. When you see this package that we're going to unveil today, you're going to say, oh, yes, of course. Oh, of course. And then probably like me, you're going to say, oh, that was not a project already. We didn't think about that. And it's not that we didn't think about it. We didn't have the resources. So with that, let me talk about the growth for a minute. And I've been talking about it. It's not a new conversation. You hear Karen Crow has grown 43.2% since 2020 and is Louisiana's fastest growing city. But Youngsville, Broussard, Deuce, Scott, Lafayette, and the unincorporated area are all growing. The exact rate is not the same, but the pace is the same. And when I sit with the mayors, the challenges we're all facing are pretty significant, right? And if we stay on pace, and I'll let VJ talk about that in a little while, if we stay on pace, not if we increase, and we all know there's potential economic development, large potential coming. If we stay on pace, we should expect 50,000 more people in Lafayette Parish by 2050. So where do we put 50,000 more people in Lafayette Parish between now and 2050? And what happens to our roadways, right? So that's if we stay on pace. Growth is a really serious issue, and we really do have to think outside of the box and solving the problems. Traffic congestion is certainly not the only problem, but it does seem to be the greatest frustration. It costs us time, it costs us money, it costs our businesses money when their employees can't get to work, when we don't have a reliable transportation system. So that's that. And that's pretty well established. It's not a new subject matter. I will say this, whether you look at the activity that we have going on in the city of Lafayette or the parish or the unincorporated area, one of the questions is how do we move in Lafayette Parish and how do we want to move? And so I'm just going to quickly throw this out because this really is a vehicle congestion plan, but we also have to look at the walkability, we have to look at bikeability, we have to look at public transit, and we have to look at vehicular movements around the parish. And so this gives us a real opportunity from a parish perspective to look at the vehicular congestion, but also can we feed in there some shared paths. It's always if we can make it happen, we need to make it happen, because that connectivity, that mobility, the movement around the parish, really we're at a transition in time where what does it look like going forward? Do we stay where we are and it's not really quite working for anybody? The pedestrian fatalities, we had another one last week, continue to increase. It's not acceptable. So anyway, just throwing that out there. So when we came into office, we asked our bond attorneys to look at our bonding capacity, see what's available, see how creative can we get or not get, or, what is I'm not a bond expert, I will tell you that, but we have experts. And so they came to me earlier this year. We have a debt bond in the parish, and in 2010 it was approved by voters. And in 2011, they started working on a set of roads, which we have that list that we can get you if you want to see it. And when you approve these debt bonds, you have a certain amount of time you've got to spend them in. So we've been paying debt. And they came to us and said, if you get the voters to approve this debt bond now, this year, and not next year, which Karen can go into detail about why, you have at the same rate it is today, so no new taxes, you have the ability to raise $77 million for the parish of Lafayette. Not the city, the parish. That doesn't happen very often. So we kind of feel like it's a once-in-a-generation opportunity to invest in the parish. And the question became, what would we do with it? And I understand very clearly the voters of Lafayette don't haphazardly vote on millages or on taxes or on renewals or on any of it. They want to know where the money's going, and they want answers. And so, very clearly in those early conversations, we're going to have to define what we do with this if we ask the voters to approve this bond debt to go forward. And it also became very clear that we had an opportunity to address congestion on the roadways between our cities in a new way, in a way that we never had, in a way every one of us want to. Our state partners are here today because we've had to rely on state capital outlay as almost the primary source of funding for those roadways, because the parish, again, is weighed down with those unfunded mandates. And so our legislators are critical partners in these roadways, but we have all really wanted to be able to address the problems in a bigger way. And so we're going to take the debt bond and put it on the ballot in December. I think you've seen that at the council meetings. And if the voters approve this, it gives us the opportunity, we would borrow in tranches, depending on the projects, to raise $77 million and really invest in our transportation system, in our traffic system, in a different way. Let's see. I've said a lot of this already. The projects, we'll talk about the projects in a minute. Actually, we'll talk about the projects now. So it's roundabouts, intersection turn lane improvements, major corridor widenings, parish signal timing and synchronization, drainage improvements. So when we do roadway projects, you always have drainage elements in those projects. So if somebody says, why aren't you doing drainage? I'm going to tell you we're doing drainage in every one of these projects. So it is both drainage and roadway. There are a couple of projects that are not on our list, big state projects. The widening of Vero School Road is well over $75 million. This project will not pay for that. It will not get that off the mark, and that is a state project. But can we look at Vero School Road and add some turn lanes to create efficiencies? Absolutely. So that's part of this package. So let me say that Broussard, you see in the current budget, $750,000 to begin engineering and design. We own Broussard to the bridge. Right now we have a major roundabout under construction at Boulet. So we want to begin that widening process. Eventually, eventually, Broussard, which the developments are landing on us on a regular basis. I don't know the exact pace, but I know 1 week we had 2 or 3 land, within 3 days. And it kind of hits you. Each one of them has over 100, 200 homes. So the growth there is really significant. So we have to think about it a little bit different. We have to think about, are we leaving the right space for commercial activity? Are we, how are we doing this? Is the infrastructure there? So Broussard will probably be a signature project. Some of these are small projects. In Carencro, we're looking at a couple of what are the choke points? Was the question. What are the where are we holding people back? University of Renault is a planned roundabout by the state. It's sitting there almost ready to go, shy of a few $1 million. Can we work with the state to either get them to go ahead and pay for it? Can we meet them halfway? Can we negotiate on that? That intersection right by LCA is really dangerous and bad, and it holds people out of Carencro. The mayor told me, people completely avoid it because it's it's not a safe intersection. So there's several different intersections in there. I do want to ask Vijay Konada, sorry. He's the engineering manager with Neil Schaefer. Vijay is one of our foremost experts on traffic in Lafayette Parish, and he is helping us put together a long-term transportation plan for the city and for the parish. Let me say this. What you won't see is a lot of the major congestion points in the city of Lafayette. That is coming. Those are more complex problems. It's much easier in an area where it's not built out. In the city, you have a lot of build out, so you have to get very creative. But we are working on that package in the long-term range plan. And so I do want Vijay to come up because this project list came from a collaboration of Morton Poirier, our interim traffic Roads and Bridges Director, as well as VJ. I asked what are the most congested points, what are the most critical points for us to address, and that's where the list came from. So I'm going to let him just talk for a quick minute about what were the criteria and what were the considerations.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning, everyone. As Mayor said, when she said we have an opportunity here for $77 million of worth of improvements and make a difference in everyday lives of the Lafayette Parish residents, me and Martin got to the table. So, and then started working on preparing this list. This list is data-driven. There are 2 most important outcomes we want to achieve and provide that benefits to the Lafayette residents is reducing the traffic delays and also improving the safety parish-wide. The set of projects that we put together targets. So basically, when you look at it, where do we have the most congested locations in the parish? And also, if we address those, even though these are small-scale projects, do they provide alternate routes to the parish residents? I think that's kind of the major theme that we kind of looked at when we are putting this together, and that's what we came up with this list. So when we talk about traffic delays, I'll give you a couple of examples, kind of see how we kind of looked at it as a system-wide improvement. Today, the drivers travel between Lafayette, Broussard, Youngsville, and other southern parts of the parish. They rely heavily on Pinhook Road or Virat School Road, right? But then we do have some bottlenecks we can address those, like if you look at Boulet Road at Lonneville, and then Boulet Road at Ambassador Caffrey Parkway, and then Shemin Metry at Fortune Road, and then you have the Youngsville Highway at Albertson Parkway. So those are 4 choke points. If you can address those, what it will give them is multiple travel routes that they can take. And then also it will help Virat School Road too, and it will help Pinhook Road too, because you are redistributing the traffic. That's one criteria we have used. Same thing when we are looking at the western side of the parish, Ridge Road improvements. We got 3 bottlenecks there right now. So we have Lagnier Road at Ridge. We are looking at Rue at Ridge Road and Ridge at South Domingue Avenue. So if you improve those 3 locations, it gives you a very good east-west connectivity in that side of the parish. And also we looked at Rue improvements. That actually kind of between West Congress Street and also to Ridge Road. It gives you that north-south route parallel to Ambassador Caffrey Parkway. those projects will provide that much needed connectivity that we need, even though they look isolated intersections, but it will give you the traffic redistribution throughout the parish. Mayor already talked about what we are looking at on the north side of I-10, which is in the Karen Crow area. That will give us those relief to those daily commuters coming from the north side of I-10 to into Lafayette and going from Lafayette to the north side. And then I'll talk about the signal retiming project. We did this parish-wide signal retiming project in 2011. The benefit cost ratio is 38:1. So every $1 we spent, we realized a $38 benefit by reducing the traffic delays for the parish residents. So that's part of this package as well. The East Broussard Road improvements, that actually provides that much needed additional east-west connectivity on the south side of the parish coming from the Milton to Lafayette. And also, there's a lot of growth happening along that roadway right now, multiple developments, so that will help that as well. Safety. I mean, we cannot make these improvements without considering safety, right? So all these projects are proposed locations have documented crash histories. With the proposed improvements like the roundabouts, they reduce about 70% of the crashes when we move from a two-way stop-controlled intersection to a roundabout. It moves traffic efficiently but reduces crashes. And more importantly, it reduces severe injury crashes. That's what we get from roundabouts. And then Lafayette Parish is growing, and with the growth comes more traffic at these locations. So this program is, the traffic studies we looked at existing conditions, we also looked at future conditions as well. By making these improvements and investment at these locations, I think we are addressing the existing bottlenecks and also preparing us for the future. I'll say this in closing. I mean, I applaud Mayor President to take this initiative because I think it's much needed for the parish. Every project in this list improves that particular location, but together they actually make the improvements entire roadway network. That's the important thing. And then it provides better route choices, and which will reduce travel delays as well as improving safety parish-wide. That's what this program does.
Thank you, Vijay. I'm not sure I could have communicated that as well as you did, but I want you to understand it's a systematic solution, lots of moving parts. I do want to invite some of my partners to come up and speak. Brock Myers is our senator, covers most of the area, the entire parish. I don't know, but critical partner in all that we do. So thank you.
Thank you, Mayor President. Brock Myers, State Senator for District 23, which encompasses a large portion of Lafayette Parish. But we also have other senators who touch Lafayette Parish, such as Senator Klein Peters, Senator Miguez, and Senator Hinskins. So we're all working together. Oh, and Senator Boudreau. Apologies to Senator Boudreau when he hears me miss him that way. Thank you, Mayor Clavier. But we also have a very large delegation of state reps who are all working together as well, some of them behind us here. We have about 12 state reps that touch Lafayette Parish. As a delegation, this is one of the things that we focus on the most, infrastructure. Working in partnership with our parish council, with the councils from each of our cities, with our mayor president. This is absolutely one of the things that our constituents expect from us the most. They want to be able to move around, they want to be able to get to work, get to their kids, they want to do it safely, and they want to do it efficiently. I can think of no better project for us to all to be partnered on and working together on than an infrastructure project like this. Here's the two things that I continued to hear this morning, and I think we're going to hear over and over again, and we should focus on. Lafayette Parish is growing, and that is a testament to the leadership. We've got great mayors throughout this parish, but the second thing that I heard is data-driven. We got an issue, and it's an issue that I'm sort of glad we have. I don't like traffic, but there's plenty of places in our state that are not having this issue right now. Lafayette Parish is because of our growth, and the fact that we're going about this together in partnership with all these entities, state, local, parish, but we're using data-driven analysis to be able to create those solutions, I think is one of the most important things about this project. So Mayor President, Parish Council, all the mayors, thank you guys, and our delegation is with you 100%.
I would like to invite Representative Annie Spell also to say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor President Boulet. Thank you all for being here today. This is something, as Senator Myers just mentioned, is a top priority for us at the state level. We are very proud of our parish. We are one of those shining stars in our state. And for us to maintain that, to maintain the status that we have in our state, we do need to address the connectivity between all the smaller municipalities across our parish in and outside of Lafayette. So I want to thank everyone here today who's put this as a top of mind project. Whatever your age is, whatever area of the parish you live in, whether you work, whether you don't work, whether you have children or don't have children, you are driving across the parish, and traffic and safety affect you no matter what time of life you're in or where you're going to. And so this allows access to work, access to education, and access to services for all residents in Lafayette Parish. So I want to thank Mayor President for inviting us here today and for leading this initiative, as well as all the other leaders up here. Thank you.
Thank you. When I showed Representative Spell the list, she said, "Oh my gosh, I drive on those roads all the time. We need that." She has kids in sports, so she is going across the entire parish. So yes, total buy-in. Representative Josh Carlson.
Thank you, Mayor President. Every one of us knows that feeling of sitting in traffic that wasn't there maybe a few years ago, or it was, but it seems to just be progressively getting worse. And when the Mayor President called me a couple of weeks ago, I was thrilled to hear this plan because it doesn't just address the needs today, which it certainly does, but it also sets us up and positions us for growth in the future. And, relief today is one thing, and I'm excited about that. But you've heard it from a couple, from our senator and Representative Spell. We're the only parish in the state. We're one of just a few parishes in the state that are growing. We're growing at a faster rate than any other parish in this state, and that doesn't happen because we're just reaching immediate needs today, but because someone 20 years ago had the forethought and the vision to build connectors and build roadways that would allow for this growth. Well, now you're seeing that same vision implemented again today so that we can continue to grow, continue to have jobs, families, and future here in Lafayette that is vibrant and thriving. And so I could not be more excited about this. I think it shows the forethought and the vision that is needed. We've heard for so many years how we've had an outmigration problem in the state of Louisiana. And I think here in Lafayette, we are modeling what it takes to not just continue to grow, but create a place where we're inviting the next generation, our children and grandchildren back home. And it really sets the tone and sets the example for the rest of the state. I'm very excited about this plan. So thank you so much for all the work that you've done and your team to put this together. So thank you.
So I want to say thank you, Representative Carlson, for the kind words, but don't go too far because we're still going to need your funding. Next, I want to invite Mayor Charlotte Clavier out of Karen Crow. She lets us all know they do have a fast growth rate. So anyway.
So I'm not as prepared as the others because I don't have remarks already printed, but I would like to say that we all feel the choke points where we have to drive. We all feel it. I don't like taxes, but I also don't like traffic, and I really don't like traffic. I'm a grandmother now, so I'm out of the commuter deal with my kids, but I drove these roads for years, and time is money, and so my time stuck in traffic is worth something. And when you equate the amount that this tax is going to cost you and how much you're going to save in the time, it's well worth it, I believe. I'm considering voting for it, so just so you know that I'm considering voting for it. But I think that we all need to understand that the biggest impediment to economic development in Lafayette Parish is our traffic. And it's somebody in Karen Crow needing to go to Costco. That's an hour trip. Why would you do that? Maybe I'll do it when I go to a doctor's appointment or something like that. So we kind of conserve those trips to the other side. And if we could make those easier, it would make services easier for everyone, shopping easier for everyone, and I think it's a boon for the whole parish. But I'm considering voting for it.
Thank you. We do have several parish council members up here, and I would offer the microphone to any of them who would like to say a few words. Okay. Councilman Bruce, sorry. Okay. Maybe. Ken?
You know, y'all can't threaten me with a microphone. So my wife not in the crowd to tell me, but seriously speaking, this is a great thing for Lafayette. We need accessibility. We need roadways. Coming from somebody that traveled the roads for 38 years with my job at UPS, we have to get it and go. So this will help out. And Josh, don't go too far, because you know how it was when we first got on. It was Josh, and also Mr. Bryan can also contest to what I'm about to say. When we first got on the parish council, we had less than $100,000 in our account. So this, we couldn't see the vision to be able to expand roads and connect the different roads. But with this here, we see where we can make that happen. So we appreciate the initiative that's coming through, and I'm thinking about voting for it too, huh? Yeah, okay. No, but thank you guys for everything that y'all are doing.
Thank you, Councilman Rubin. Councilman Stansberry? Nope. Okay. Okay, good. Good. Hurry up. So I don't know, Rachel was spoke to me. Commuter Connections is the name of the entire project. You will see a map on the flyers that Jamie handed out. You will see it's dispersed around the choke points. I was trying to understand all of the roadways. We really have north, south, west, and that eastern side is kind of a swamp. And you'll see it, and you can visualize, if we can move the traffic better. I think Charlotte was hitting the economic development, and the Costco example is perfect. It impacts everybody.
You go to the hospital, you have families.
Correct.
Wherever. You have somebody, you live in Karen Grove. I'm sorry, I'm taking over.
No, you're good.
And there, you have family members that are Our Lady of Lourdes. That's a 45-minute trip. And make sure there's no wrecks on the way, because you might be longer. That's serious.
Yeah. Yep. So anyway, and as well as I said on the website, you can go in and see what the individual projects actually are. Many of them are brand new projects. A few have some funding. A few have engineering and design, but mostly they are new projects. But we included even those that are in progress, because they are part of that system that needs to make it all work. So anyway, let me open it up to questions. Any questions? So when it's a brand new project, Martin will not give me anything less than 4 to 7 years, because you really are starting from scratch. You're sending out that initial survey. Some of these intersections were studied 15 years ago. I think the MPO did around 20 intersections to determine which would be appropriate for roundabouts. That might be the last real analysis done on some of them. So those brand new ones, we are going to be working for some early wins. So it depends. Those projects that are not new projects, where are they in the process? Is it money that they're holding on? Can we tip them over? We hope to have some early wins, let me say that, but a vast majority of this is going to be getting everything in the pipeline and moving. No. So let's go to University of Renault. It's actually a state project. It's I want to say, 80% design with the state. It's a $9 million construction cost. They have 5. And it's been sitting. Can we sit down with the state and negotiate? Can we meet you halfway and get it over the top? That kind of thing. So there were a few projects. Some of the roundabouts we have. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So you'll see some construction probably within a year. but moving the entire package, it's a heavy lift. I don't pick up small lifts. It's a heavy lift. It's very complex. It's going to be a lot of moving parts, but how do we get this whole kind of engine in that pipeline? We don't have to pull out all 77 million at one time. We'll do it. It'll be an analysis of what funds what can we move now, and what funds do we need to move it. And so it'll probably be in 2 or 3 tranches as the projects get closer to construction. Mm-hmm. Nothing new. It's what you're paying today, 1.85 mils. You're already paying for it. Yes. It is not a new tax. It is approval of a debt bond, I think is the technical language. It's approving us to continue to borrow at the exact same rate that we are paying for now. Mm-mm. No, not one at a time, and not a cap. It'll be our capacity. Well, actually, I will tell you this, like if you look at the life of a project, there's an idea. Then you go out and you survey, you look at existing conditions. You see that on Johnson Street right now, trying to understand what's out there. Then the engineering can start to develop, and Martin, step in, or VJ at any point. They start the design. You go into conceptual design. Then you do preliminary plans. Then you do final plans. At that point, when you know exactly what you're doing, you start defining the right-of-way you need. And you have to get appraisers out, and you have to appraise every piece of it and make an offer. That right-of-way process can add 1, 2, 3 years to our project, negotiating with property owners. So that's, I think, one of the biggest variables is that right-of-way time frame. Some of the projects right now we're working on right-of-way, but then once the right-of-way is acquired, you move into construction. So yeah, some of these projects we're in right-of-way acquisition right now. They've gone through all of that design, conceptual design, engineering process. It's a process. We will come up with timelines. We will come up with dashboards. People will be able to follow the projects. The status will be on the website. We do have a really nice landing page today. Thank you, Jamie. But it will become an interactive working landing page for the entire program. Mm-hmm. So then we lean back on these guys for small amounts all along the way. I mean, it puts us back where we are today, where we're piecemealing. Exactly. It's an opportunity to really develop system-wide solutions, or not, I guess, Scott. I think there was some intent in Joey Durrell's term to do something like this, and the voters did turn it down. And so those projects that I was in a public meeting in Milton, and a lady was very emotional about what she deals with every day coming out of her neighborhood. And she looked at me and said, "You should have done this 20 years ago." And I said, "Me?" And she said, "Yes." And I mean, she was just frustrated, right? And I was on the soccer fields 20 years ago up in Karen Crow, stuck in that traffic. No, I was actually. But the problems we have are not new. They're not new. And so it is a tricky balance. I do think because it's not a new tax, I really want voters to look close at this and really look at it as an opportunity. It is an opportunity. And if we don't pass it, Karen would have to get into the technical sides of this. It reduces the amount we can raise significantly next year. So if it doesn't pass this year, it cuts it in half. And again, I'm not a bonding attorney. So this is the year to raise $77 million. Next year is closer to $35 million. And again, you can point questions that way to understand that a little bit more. We have a small window right now to make generational change.
Thank you all for being here today. Just to wrap us up, Commuter Connections is live on our website, LafayetteLA.gov/Commuter Connections. You can learn more information there. Really excited about this. As you can see, the energy in the room is tremendous. And so excited to get this off the ground. For more information, visit that website. Excited for better connections, better commutes, and moving Lafayette Parish forward. Thank y'all.